The history of computer began with primitive design in the early 19th century and went to change the world during 20th century.
The history of computers goes back over 200 years. At first theorized by mathematicians and entrepreneurs during the 19th century,
the advancement of technology enabled ever more complex computers by the early 20th century, and computers become larger and more powerful.
Today, computers are almost unrecognizable from designs of the 19th century, such as Charles Babbage's analytical engine, or even from the huge computers of the 20th century that occupied whole rooms, such as the electronic numerical integrator and calculator.
English mathematician Charles Babbage conceived of a steam-driven calculating machine that will be able to compute tables of numbers.
The machine is significant for being the first to compute tabular differences and print the results, according to Utah C. Merbach's book, George Scotch and the First Printing Calculator.
in 1890, Herman Hollerith designs a punch card system to help calculate the 1890 U.S. Census.
At the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, Vannevar Bush invented and built the differential analyzer, the first large-scale automatic general-purpose mechanical analog computer. John Vincent Anatosov, a professor of physics and mathematics at Iowa State University.
In 1941, German inventor and engineer Konrad Zuse completes his Z23 machine, the world's earliest digital computer.
Two professors at the University of Pennsylvania, John McCullough and J. Presper, designed and built the ENIAC. The machine is first automatic general-purpose electronic decimal digital computer.
In 1953, Grace Hopper develops the first computer language, which eventually becomes known as COBOL. In 1954, John Backus and his team of programmers at IBM published a paper describing their newly created Fortran.
Ken Thompson, Dennis Ritchie, and a group of other developers at Bell Labs produced Unix. The newly formed Intel unveils the Intel 1103, the first dynamic access memory. A team of IBM engineers led by Alan Shugart invented the floppy disk.
In 1973, Robert Metcalfe, a member of the research staff for Xerox, developed Ethernet for connecting multiple computers and other hardware. In 1975, the magazine cover of the January issue of Popular Electronic highlights the Altair 1880. In 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak co-founded Apple Computer on April Fool's Day.
In 1977, Radio Shack began its initial production run of 3000 TRS-80 Model 1 computers. In 1978, VisiCalc, the first computerized spreadsheet program, is introduced. In 1981, Acorn, IBM's first personal computer, is released onto the market at a price point of $1,565.
The Apple Lisa, standing for Local Integrated Software Architecture. The Apple Macintosh is announced to the world during a Super Bowl advertisement. The advancement of technology enabled ever more complex computers by the early 20th century. The Pentium microprocessor advanced the use of graphics and the music on PCs. Sergey Brin and Larry Page developed the Google search engine at Stanford University.
In 1997, Microsoft invests $150 million in Apple, which at the time is struggling financially. In 1999, Wi-Fi, the abbreviated term of wireless fidelity, is developed, initially covering a distance up to 300 feet. In 2001, OS X goes through 16 different versions.
In 2003, AMD's Athlon 64, the first 64-bit processor for personal computers, released to customers. In 2004, the Mozilla Corporation launches Mozilla Firefox 1.0, the web browser in one of the first major challenges to Internet Explorer, owned by Microsoft. During its first 5 years, 2005, Google buys Android, a Linux-based mobile phone operating system. In 2006, the MacBook Pro from Apple hits the shelves. The Pro is the company's first Intel-based dual-core mobile computer. 2009, Microsoft launches Windows 7 on July 22. The new operating system features the ability to pin applications.
In 2016 to present, the first reprogrammable quantum computer was created. Until now, there has not been any quantum computing platform that had the capability to program new algorithms into their system.